actually went back for my sister's wedding, and I had still not used to humidity, I guess, and I had sweat through my shirt, my undershirt, so I got adjusted overall so far. And I mean, those 115 days are pretty crazy, but I'm getting adjusted to it pretty well.
When we talk about the adjustment, like the fact that you're here all the way back in the spring, I mean, how much has it helped you on and off the field?
I think a lot, because I mean, we'll train each morning, I guess, outside running and on our own, and we try to do it in the prime time of the day, because we play out here and it gets to 100 degrees, 97 degrees, they say, even at nighttime. So we want to push ourselves to limits that are going to be game-like scenarios, and so I think it is a great adjustment for us.
As far as X's and O's, what was the hardest thing for you to adjust when it comes to the Glenn Thomas game?
I think a lot of it is very similar. I don't think there was too much adjustment for me. I think some of the run game was pretty complex, talking about mic points and stuff like that. It was similar to how it was at Alabama, and just the different terms, just matching them in my mind. That was really the only adjustment that I had to make.
How about adding another quarterback to the mix? Now there's 6 of you fighting for the job.
Right, for sure. Yeah, I think Emory, is a great quarterback, and we're glad to have him in the room, and he's an awesome guy, and so it's been fun having him there.
More competition though?
For sure. I mean, when you add another guy, there's always more competition. They say there's 6 fighting for the job now, so one more. I mean, it's always a competition though. So.
What do you think about the guys' overall buy-in to your summer workouts, the energy, atmosphere, and all that?
Right, I really think we bought in and did a fantastic job. Coach Joe actually said it himself a few days ago, that this was bar none the best he had seen us work. And obviously people don't get to see what happens in this building, but I promise you, we put in the work and want to just perform the best way we can on the field, so we know that it takes that work in the offseason to be able to make that happen.
Well, other players have talked about this group being particularly together. Do you have a similar sense about just the camaraderie of the group?
I think so, for sure, because when you think about it, I think it was about 30 new guys, 40 new guys. It's a crazy amount, and everyone's coming in here having the same goal to go win a Pac-12 championship, go produce on the field. Not many people are out here looking for themselves, so we all come together real short and quick, because we know, I mean, we haven't had those 3-4 years built together, so it's time to come together and make something happen on the field.
Paul, you grew up around and were part of, as a player, one of the great programs in the history of college football.
Sure.
What are some of the things that you feel like you can bring to Arizona State that you learned or absorbed being a part of the Alabama?
No doubt. I think Alabama was, phenomenal for me. I loved every bit of it, and it was definitely a blessing to be able to go there, win a national championship, play on a team that didn't make the national championship, made the national championship, and lost and won the national championship. So I've had 3 different experiences that I can bring to the team and know what it takes, what's good, what's not good, and I think a leadership skill is definitely a big bonus that I learned there that I can bring here, along with the mental aspect of the game, and really just the process, and I think that's probably the most important, just for me to be able to share what it takes from what has been there to here, and I think we've done a phenomenal job of that all summer, because I think personally from Alabama, summer is actually probably the most important time when you're not with your coaches. You're on your own. You're doing your stuff on your own, getting the guys come out. I mean, if you can sit at home on your butt all day and do nothing, or you can bring them out together and everyone can get to work, and I think so. I think we did a phenomenal job this summer, and it's important for us to carry back on that going into fall camp.
Process is a big word.
For sure, process is at Alabama, for sure. Trust the process.
Herb made it a big point to talk about how many people came here, and Coach Lewis was talking about opportunity. So what excites you most about the opportunity here at Arizona State?
For sure, I think the opportunity is just a dream to play on the field. Obviously I got a few snaps at Alabama, but I want to play on the field as well as everyone that comes here. They want to play and produce and make the biggest impact we can for the team, because it's really a team sport. It has nothing to do with ourselves, and we all want to play, but we also want to make the biggest impact and help your team win. That's how I see it. Is I just want to make sure I can do everything in my power to make sure the team wins.
How do you feel about the offensive tools around you?
Oh, they're phenomenal. I mean, gotten to see over spring and really going into the summer, they've been fantastic. and just getting to throw and make more of the connection with some of the receivers and some of the new transfers in. Even since May they came in, it was great to be able to connect with them. And I think we have a great offensive style, and I think it's going to go definitely in a positive direction.
How did
For sure. I mean, I think anywhere you go, you're never going to be handed a job. And I think with 6 quarterbacks, it honestly just makes it that much more upon you, knowing that everyone has an opportunity. But I'd say being at Alabama, it kind of taught me those lessons. I came in early enrolled, and I was watching Jalen, Tua, Mac, and I came in with Talia, and then you got Bryce, who came in right after. So I've always had competition in the air for sure, and nothing's ever given to anyone. And so I think coming here, coming really anywhere, but especially coming here, I knew there was I was never going to shy away from competition. That's not my personality. I actually feel like I thrive in it and play better when that's.
How important were the reps that you had in spring ball when you got here on campus last year? How important are those reps to now getting ready, for training camp tomorrow? How vital were those reps for you?
I think it was very vital, really, just for the idea of seeing the offense. It's completely different from looking at it, in your playbook than actually seeing it live. And you can watch film all day. Like, I'm a film junkie, but you can't really experience it until you're out there on the field. So I think being out there and having those reps in film definitely will help me, just see it over and over again more and more on the field.
The guys you had to compete with in Alabama, how do they relate to the guys that you're competing with here? Are there any similarities?
For sure, everyone has their different styles, and so like you said, Jalen, who they said was more of a runner, who now has obviously progressed passing, to Matt, Bryce, like everyone it's been different, and same here, you have people that have different styles of play, and that's what makes each quarterback, specific in their own ways when they have their own styles, and so that's what makes the competition even more fun when everyone has different styles.
you just rattled off a bunch of names of guys that are now in the NFL. How cool is that to see your former teammates going on and playing on Sundays and playing?
Yeah, no doubt. It's really cool. I'm actually not a fan of any NFL team. I'm really just like a players fan because I have so many teammates in there, and I love following up with them, and even guys that are some of my best friends who might be on the practice squads. I'm rooting for them to be able to make the cut. So it's really honestly a blessing because playing under such different guys that have made it that far has set a bar for me to where I need to push myself. Like I remember watching Mac. He would the week before the game, he would know every single player on the defense. He'd know every single style they did, the first step they took. He'd spend probably 20-something hours in the film room preparing for each game at least, and I know that's what I need to hold myself to.
Were you
seeing that
before then, or did he help?
To be honest, in my freshman year, they kind of showed me the way. In high school, it was kind of just a little natural to me, I guess, and I didn't spend as much time in the film room. And then watching them and seeing all the knowledge they had built up, being 2-3 years older than me, they taught me from protections to run game mic points, stuff like that I didn't even know you had to know in high school, I'll be honest. And so it was very interesting to be able to have that knowledge and follow up from what they have learned over time and do that.
You just named off a couple quarterbacks you shared the room with that are now first-round picks and starting quarterbacks in the NFL. So how does that experience in that room help you ahead of trying to win the job here at ASU?
Yeah, I think it's the most important thing is just for me to follow in their footsteps because they obviously were very successful at what they did, and being first-round picks, that's a lot of people's dreams, and so I think me being able to do everything I can to follow how they did it will help not only us for me for my goals, but really for team goals because they were a part of teams that won a lot of games, and that's my main goal more than any personal goal, and so I think following what they have done on the winning aspect of things, that's what I want to make sure I follow up on. So it's also great to make a name for yourself too.
Well, here's hoping you create a legacy at another school that starts with the letter A, Arizona State. Thanks, Paul.
Right, no doubt. Well, I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Welcome. Great to have you.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much. You have a good one.
I just wanted a couple more words with you,
course,
Paul.
yeah.
Let me just.
Yeah, go ahead. As far as coming in the spring where the starting quarterback leaves and it's wide open, and there's so much competition for that number one spot. How do you keep yourself ready as far as where you're going to rank in the depth chart? Because even regardless of where they go with the starting job, I mean, you might have to be ready to go if that guy gets hurt. You know, how do you kind of balance all that?
No, 100%. I think I mean the end goal is definitely to start, and so you're going to push yourself each and every day to make that happen. You know, but I think I guess dealt with so much of that in the past because I was, you know, started coming in as like battling for the third string and then battling for second string. I have, and then, you know, with Bryce, I was right behind him at second string. So I've, you know, been through that prep of being the second string where I'd spend 15, 20 hours a week knowing, because you know it's one play away from having to go in that game, and you got to be ready to play to make an impact for your team to be able to win the game. So I think I know what it takes in any position that you are in the depth chart to be ready to play, because I've seen so many guys do it in the past.
And for a while, it was just you guys before Emery got here. Were you expecting when you came over here at first that there would be another guy to have to potentially worry about? Like when you were on the field in the spring, did you think that it was just you guys right there on the field? And was it almost like a blind side that like another guy came? How do you take that?
No, nothing like that. I think you know, that's obviously above my pay grade. That's the coach's decisions who they do and don't want to bring in, but none of that would ever really faze me. I think it's I think more about what I need to do each play and not worried about what someone else is doing. You can only control what you can control, and so I'm out there doing what I can no matter what. And whoever the coaches want to bring in is their decision, and it's my job to do everything I can to be the most successful on the field that will help the team win at the end.
Now, in hindsight, what did you think about your spring camp? You know, ahead of what you have going, what you personally worked for in this offseason ahead of tomorrow. What did you think about what you've done already in front of coaches ahead of tomorrow's opportunity?
Yeah, you know, I felt like I had a pretty successful spring, but obviously wanted to prove much more, as I always do. I'm kind of a perfectionist. I'm never really satisfied. So watching film, I'll see things like, man, I wish I would have done that differently in that time. But that's this time over summer that I've had leading into fall camp, I've hopefully been able to correct those things, and just do everything I can to make sure those mistakes don't happen again. Because, you know, it's good to make a mistake, is what Coach Thomas always tells us, but it's not good to make a mistake more than once. And so we learn from those mistakes, and we don't get satisfied from the times that we're successful, but we learn from the mistakes and get better from them.
Now, what have those conversations been like with Herm and Glenn as far as where your progression has been? What have they told you? You know, how do you feel about their confidence in you?
I feel like they're very confident in me, and I think they're just wanting me each and every day to get better in any aspect of my game. And like it started with when I first came here was just some of the under center stuff. I was a little unfamiliar with it, and they were you know, pushing me to get better in that, and in my reads and stuff like that, to be precise with my footwork, stuff like that. So it's things that they just want to help me perfect, so I'm more and more ready for when it comes to game time. And so I think no matter what, they're going to help push me in the right direction to be successful.
And we talked about these guys earlier, but again, like Tua and Mac, and being in a room with coaches that are, you know, some of the most respected in the game. Was there ever a moment of feeling kind of starstruck being in a room like that while you're in Alabama? And then I guess how, again, I think I asked this earlier, but how can you take all those experiences from everyone into what you're going to bring here in Tempe? Right,
yeah. I think it was a little bit of a shock, I guess, more as a recruit. When you come in and you first see all these top name guys, you know, have been so up for the Heisman or all this different stuff, and so that was crazy at Alabama. But then once you came and joined the process, you realize you know what it takes and how much work they're putting in, and kind of it's a little bit, I guess, starstruck, and you're like, whoa, this is what I have to do to be successful. And so I think that was what I was really the main aspect that I was able to take from them, and take from not only just their style of game plays, but also like how they game prepped or what they did in the off-season work, and how they would bring receivers in and throw with them, or training, and, you know, different stuff like that. I guess I've tried to program my mind similar to theirs so I can be the most successful.
And last question for you. If I'm not mistaken, I think both you and Emery being recruited by Alabama were around the same time. Were you familiar with him from long ago, or is this the first time you've really gotten to understand or get to know him a little bit?
I have not gotten to meet him personally until he came here, and he's an awesome guy. But when I was getting recruited, I guess I knew of him. I think he was in the class above me, 2018, and we both like went through the Elite 11, stuff like that. So I had known of him, but never, I guess, met him in person until he came here.
Okay.